there was no way on earth he wouldn't have had other offers in the Premier League. If James Milner gets a club at 37, right, and goes to Brighton, Jordan Henderson would have had offers coming in. So that to me is not true.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because he was asked that question about other clubs and would he have been excited by, let's say, other projects. In particular, they mentioned Brighton. They even mentioned my club, Brentford. This was the question that was asked of him. He said, they asked him, what if it would have been maybe a Brentford or a Brighton, that kind of level? Or was it your view that if I'm going to stay in European football, I want to be really competing at the top? His response was, I wanted something that would excite me. And that's not to say those clubs wouldn't excite me, because they are great clubs and they come with different challenges. But it needed to be something that I felt as though I could add value in and try and do something new, a new challenge. And something for different reasons, is what he said.
Well, it's hard to look. Andy Townsend said on midweek, he went there to fill his boots. Okay? Own it. You did. You can't. And Henry Winter's alluding exactly the same thing, is that the hypocrisy in everything he said. Now, there's nothing wrong. If you want to go, and it's not illegal to go to, you can go and play there. You're not breaking the law. But because of things that have been said in the past, and Harry stood up for certain rights of a particular group, that, it feels it, well, okay, well, why did you say them things at the time? If you believe...
That's the problem, isn't it? That it all centres on, and there is a sort of feeling of, well, that was just tokenism now, wasn't
exactly.
What you said? Well, it doesn't feel there's any value to what you said. Although he is trying to say, look, I still believe in what I said, but he has suggested, like, he's gone out there to be a bit of a game changer. And he did say about the money situation. He says, money has never been a motivation, ever. Don't get me wrong. He says, when you move, the business deal has to be right. You have to have financials. You have to feel wanted. You have to feel valued. And money is a part of that. But that wasn't the sole reason. And these possibilities came up before money was even mentioned.
I'm going to use a Tommy Cooper line, and many people would have known from the past, the older listeners, and it's the money, not the principle. Okay? That's what he's chose. He has chose that. There is you can put it up as much as you like, whatever way you want to form it. It just doesn't add up, because you're saying one thing and doing another. If you're going to Saudi Arabia, you're going there for, as we stand today, for the money.
Well, you're not going there for the competitive nature of the league.
No, it's a league that isn't recognised. There isn't no major competition, so you're not excited about the football. The crowds are very low at the games. There is, apart from the money, what was there to be excited about? Now, there's nothing wrong with that. I've always said, any sportsman, I've been lucky enough to be one, it's your own choice. If you want to go and fight someone, or you want to go somewhere, it's your career. You're entitled to do what you want with your career. But don't mislead people along the way. As soon as I heard Jordan's interview, I was very surprised, because when he said, the line that got me was when he said there was no offers on the table. It's like, no, come on.
There would have been teams interested.
If the England manager wants you and is prepared to pick you, there is no way you wouldn't have offers. No way.
I still have my issues with Gareth Southgate selecting Jordan Henderson. Not because, listen, I understand what Jordan Henderson brings to the team in terms of leadership, but there are obviously, we spoke about this last weekend, about the certain individuals who've been selected who aren't playing at all, aren't getting any minutes, and yet they're still in the team. And Jordan Henderson, like you've just pointed out, has moved to a league where right now they don't have that competitive... I remember Gareth Southgate in the past has spoken about the need for wanting more of his players to be playing top-level competition, European competition. And I'm talking about the Champions League, for example. Yet he's selecting players that aren't even playing. It just doesn't make any sense.
Well, also, you could add into that is no one's asked him the question of, did you have a conversation about going to Saudi Arabia with Gareth?
Well, I think he doesn't. I think there isn't he just sort of talk about the England situation being a big factor.
He would have been given the okay.
Well, when he talked about not feeling valued at Liverpool, he said he felt alarm bells ringing about not being wanted. In conversations with Jurgen Klopp, the then Liverpool captain, he says, got the impression he wasn't going to be playing as much. He said that England and the Euros were in his mind, and that's why he had to move, because he had to be playing. So he's obviously had that conversation with Gareth Southgate.
Done that one. I've been in conversations with managers, and at certain stages of your career, if you feel like you're not part of the first team, you think you need to go and play and get games and be prepared for a tournament. I've been there, and so I get all of that. But certainly Saudi Arabia wouldn't have been the solution for England.
I think Southgate could have advised him a bit better. perhaps, by saying, yes, I wherever you end up,
okay.
other than perhaps.
How about if Gareth Southgate said, I'll tell you what, Jordan, if you really feel like you want to move and you want to play in England 1 year and go to Saudi next year, sign somewhere for a year. That would have been a viable option.
If you've got the Euros in mind, stick around. I mean, it's without wanting to discredit my motherland. If Jordan Henderson moved to Bulgaria, I don't think he'd be selected necessarily. I don't think Gareth Southgate would view that as a league that he should be playing in.
No, it's an interesting conversation because there is, like Henry said, it sounds a bit hypocritical in a number of issues. I think Jordan would have been far better. And he's been a great pro. I remember speaking to Noel Quinn about him when he was at Sunderland and he was his chairman and what an attitude he had. I think he had to come clean on it, on many different issues. And he hasn't really. He's just tried to cover his tracks, which I don't think he needed to do.